Welcome to the Healers Café, the #1 show for medical practitioners and holistic healers to have heart to heart conversations about their day to day lives while sharing their expertise for improving your health and wellness.
So, welcome to the Healers Café. And today I have with me Andrea Wehlann. And let me see, she's a CEO and founder of Ganga Moon Yoga and Reiki School. And she's a best-selling author and poet, and highly regarded in the field of yoga as a certified Hatha yoga teacher. She's also a social worker with a BA in psychology from Brock University and a social service diploma from Niagara College. I'm not going to go through all of your history because I think that's what we're going to do together. So, um, but I did want to mention that you have a book. The most recent is Stillness in the Storm, a conscious daily journal of yoga and spiritual healing. And yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. But let's first of all, thank you for coming, and yeah, and let's start by what brought you into this journey.
I just want to say it's nice to meet you, especially with your background and what you do in the aspect of healing for so many people. It's really an honor to be with you and to share our insights and stuff and to hopefully help other
Mm.
people today. So thanks for having me. Like you said, my name is Andrea Wehlann, and what got me started on my journey is really just understanding the darkness very, very well, and mission, some alchemy, wanting to transform the darkness and to see how I could use it and my experiences as gifts to maybe help other people and hopefully to help other people. And so that's what I do today. That's my passion, and it's how I teach, and it's how I write books.
Okay, so well, why don't we break that down a little bit more? How did it become what you do? What was the journey really? Because, everyone,
Mm.
I mean, everyone has their journey that leads
Hmm.
them to, their path, right?
Yeah.
What made you feel that this was the right
Mhm.
path for you?
So I love if, have you heard of Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey?
Sure.
Yeah, I love it. And I really think that's what my life has been about. I read Paulo Coelho's book, The Alchemist, a really long time ago, and it always stuck with me. It's one of my favorites now. But what happened to me really, really young was a set of really extraordinary experiences. And I didn't know that. I just knew that I was feeling things very deeply. And at the age of 7, I was able to channel words, and poetry was flowing through me. And I knew it was greater than myself. I knew it was beyond me because when I would look at the words on paper, I'd look at the vocabulary and it didn't match my grade. So
Mm,
I kind of had an insight there that something bigger, something divine was kind of shining through me, or that it was channeling in some sort. Um, what happened was a lot of um, experiences like abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. Did I say them all? I think there's 5 or 6.
I think we got the general gist of it.
and and yeah, I really thought for a long time that something was just really wrong with me, that I wasn't born right, that I was a bad seed, and I'd never, yeah, just amount to anything. And that's kind of what life was. And the culture that I grew up in the 70s was, um it was, you were a victim, and that was kind of it. That was kind of your life path.
Mhm.
And So that's what I did. That's the hat I wore for a really long time. And what I noticed being in that role and being angry about things, being miserable, crying all the time, being upset, was that it was cultivating a lot of experiences as I grew, as I went to university and college. The
Mm,
experiences did not differ. The experiences were uh, didn't get any better. It got worse. And I started to see on
mm,
people's faces the reflection of the feelings that I didn't wish that anyone else could feel. So when I was in pain, I
mm,
wanted it to only be me. I didn't wish that anyone else on the planet would feel such pain. So now in university, I'm outside of the house, and here I am thinking the world owes me something. And yeah. So then again, another series of extraordinary events, rape, sexual assault, started to come like in a pattern. And how people were looking at me and responding to me at university was their faces were scrunched up, or they were mad at me for things, and I could see the scowls on their faces. And I just thought, you know what? This is just, if I'm going through life this way, it's really no different than my childhood. I'm really perpetuating the same things.
mm,
And I heard, I saw, how did I know they were extraordinary experiences as a child? Is I saw Oprah Winfrey was on TV, and she would
mhm,
always have a guest on, and maybe they were raped or sexually assaulted or beaten in their home. It was always one thing. But then here I am at 17 and then 22 again, going, wait a minute, I've had all of these. Wait, I've had extra. Why am I getting extra? Why are they so extra extraordinary? And
mhm,
then at the same time, I have this gift of channeling this divine wisdom, which is getting me through life. It was really quite amazing.
mhm,
All to come to say, I started to recognize patterns and I wanted to change it. I did not want to cause anybody else suffering. And that's where I'm at today. It's still the same as that decision I made in my 20s. Is that every vibration and every word that I say, I want to resonate in people in a way that touches their love and their light and their
mhm,
peaceful self, which I believe is our nature.
mhm,
And I don't want to perpetuate those kind of negative things. And also, um, I learned to heal from those things and that I can heal.
mhm,
And
mhm.
that might be a different topic, but
No, no, I mean, I think we should talk about that part too, because obviously, but staying in the same state, and even though it was not so, or it was acceptable to stay in victimhood in the
Mhm,
70s, it just continued to create the same scene, right? It's like
mhm,
the energy was there, and that's what
mhm.
attracted
Yeah.
itself to. So
And
you,
the culture was supporting it. So I would read, there was a Bernardo case that was very popular in our area in the Niagara region in Ontario back then. And the girls ended up murdered. They were taken and they were murdered. And so on the news and in society, it was kind of perpetuated that if you were a victim, that's pretty much that's what you were in life, and then that's kind of the end of the story. So I wanted to supersede that and just get to the end. And so I tried to kill myself eventually, probably once or twice, just wanting to die to end the pain, basically. Um,
mm,
and there's a beautiful insight in that as well, is that,
mm,
in that moment is when I could see that there was an up.
mm.
And I
Mm,
haven't
but
really looked back since, but
well, let's do that now if you're okay with that.
of course. Yeah. What did you have
So,
a
no, so what happened in that moment? Like basically where you're at basically at
Yeah,
the end.
so I was sawing my sawing my wrist with a steak knife, and I can laugh about it now, but I can still feel the pain just as real as if it's happening. And I
Mm,
could see that the striations, I think that's the word, correct me if I'm wrong, but in from the blade was peeling
right.
away my skin, and it had a look just like cheese as I was cutting through. And I'm having these realizations and just content to be the end of all of it. And as I was there, it just like halfway through, I just had an insight that it was up. It was almost like that Shania Twain song that came out, up, 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 can only get up from here. And my voice is terrible, but the insight I followed. So I had that inside voice say that to me in that moment, but I also had that inside voice um, repeating the poetry, the words of this beautiful poetry and the language that was so beyond me. And I followed that. I followed that over the culture and the you're just a victim, you're meant for dead.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about that poetry.
Yeah. Wow. Poetry is really something. um, I honestly believe that you can transform your life if you're writing, journaling, even if it's not poetry, but it's quite amazing. Mhm.
Do you mind sharing a poem that I mean, they're all impactful, obviously,
Yeah,
but
share them. Yeah, so I wrote so in what was the lockdown year? I think 2021
yeah,
was the year we were locked down, right? And so I had heard that the domestic violence phone calls went up 60%, like
right,
six
yeah.
zero. And so here I am at home. I had lost my job and I had to be home with my kids. So, and my yoga studio was shut down, right? Because no one, you can't come. So, and then I heard that about domestic violence, and that just invoked that spirit in me that doesn't want to see other people suffer. And I'm like, wait a minute, I went through all of these extraordinary experiences, and I wrote words for all of these extraordinary experiences. And so I put the book together in 2021, and it's called No Matter How Dark the Stain, Poems and Inspiration for the Woman in Pain. And so sometimes healing can just happen in an instant. I know this because I've studied a lot of, yoga, Buddhism, Zen, NLP, meditation. I've really studied really hard to have a foundation so that what I've built for myself doesn't crack. And really, the healing can happen in an instant. But we need words for how to process these things. Sometimes things happen but it's words and it's through the language that we can heal and we can start to transform things. So when my book was coming out, there's a poem in here called Rohypnol, and there's a poem in here called Rape. And a funny story is that my publisher was like, "Well, Andrea, I don't think we should, you know, say rape or like Rohypnol, we could call it like Sunset Beach or like, something." And I said, I think that's what we have been doing. I think we have been quiet about these things for a really, really long time. And I think there's women that are sitting here in silence. Now they're sitting in COVID in silence and they can't get out.
Yeah.
And let's just call things what they are because like this platform with you and having new conversations will make for a new future and a new world. And I firmly believe that. And so there's a little process that happens, and the Greeks had a name for it called imitation, and it's called mimesis, and it's the first page in No Matter How Dark the Stain, and it's Plato's theory actually, that all forms of art, imitation, and life are of reality, and that mimesis allows us to explore the relationship with our inner selves, our emotions, beyond what's possible in the real world. But in poetry specifically, the form of mimesis, the words are written at one point in time, read at another point in time, and through this mind to mind and heart to heart experience, the reader finds that he or she is transformed. So, like one girl at a book signing came, and her dad, I know her dad, and he bought her the book for the poem Rohypnol because he thought something happened to her, but he wasn't quite sure. And when she stood at the bookstore in Wehlann to have her copy signed by me, she said that she didn't really know there were words for the experience that she went through. But it's that mimesis, it's that mind to mind thing. And you wouldn't know, the words unless, like, I believe I had a gift to be able to write through these things because now other people can heal the trauma from reading what I wrote when I was going through it by reading it now. That's what happens. We change each other, and yeah, it's transformative. Okay, let me find you a poem. A love poem or a serious poem? What do you think? What should we read?
Why don't we stick with,
Our healing one?
yeah, a healing, but a serious one that, and then we can end with a loved one and
Okay. How beautiful is that? Okay, so this one is called Rohypnol. Okay, and for those that don't know, Rohypnol is also known as the date rape drug. And there's a lot of things these days, like nail polishes and little things you can buy so that you can know if your drink is tainted if you go to the washroom or something at a bar. But this experience happened to me 3 times in my life where I was out and somebody put something in my drink. And the one time led to gang rape at a frat house type thing. The memories go in and out. And I really believe I was left for dead in that moment. Another time was in a different country, so I might not be here had I not figured that out or had somebody come and grab me from the strangers. And another time I was with one of my best friends, Brad, and thank goodness, because that was really weird too. So this is popular. This isn't just something that happened to me. This happens all over the place. And I just found some words for it, and I hope the poem resonates for whoever needs to hear it. So this is called Rohypnol from No Matter How Dark the Stain. Dressed up nice, big night tonight. Year one class reunites to dance, stealing glances out the door. Smiles wide, the world is yours. Reading, writing, fulfilling dreams. Statue of strength, will to succeed. Heightened glory, light and love. Friendship dances, freeway hugs. Life before a drink or drug. Smiles wide, the world is yours. Reading, writing, fulfilling dreams. Statue of strength, will to succeed. Slowly turn around, creepy predator, a stolen crown. False smiles, dirty dreams, infected drink muffles your screams. Smiles hide, the world outdoors. Animals attacking the angel's dreams. Fallen statue, no glory to succeed. Free will of man leaves the angel to bleed.
Mm. Yeah.
So it kind of matches that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a big part of healing is being heard or being understood, and offering the ability to, through poetry or stories or whatever but poetry, I particularly like poetry myself. Yeah, but because I think it can be succinct and short, and I find that it's easy to conjure up a lot of like images,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so I find it yeah, I find it not too verbose, like when you're writing or even a short story or a novel, it's too many details for me. I just want to get to the point. Sorry, and
Yeah.
conjure up what it is. And then it's like, yeah, and if you're going through it or having gone through it, yeah, you recognize it. It's like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we're not alone,
Yeah, and I think a lot of times we feel alone or we don't know what to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
or we're in shock, we're just kind of like frozen, like kind of what
yeah,
happened.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
and I think it takes only one person to see you, one person to understand you, and I
yeah,
think that can be so transformative. Just one
absolutely.
person, just one poem,
Mm,
one breath at a time,
yeah,
one heart at a time.
yeah, no, I agree. Great.
What would your life be like if you were pain-free? If you were one of the millions who suffer from chronic pain, the thought of just one day without it may seem impossible. This is often because conventional medicine tends to fall short in the treatment of pain, opting to prescribe pills or recommend surgery rather than getting to the root cause of the problem. But if you are suffering with emotional or physical pain, there is hope. Join the founder and CEO of Bowen College, Manon Bolliger, live online for your body-mind reboot. Learn how to listen to your symptoms and get to the root cause of your pain. Plus, be trained in basic Bowen therapy moves so that you can reboot your body for optimal health. You don't have to live in pain. You can heal. Stop the pain pill cycle by visiting www.yourbodymindreboot.com to learn more and to register.
So let's do a love one now.
Okay. Well, this one, now you said short, I'm nervous, but okay.
No,
let's
but
do this.
that was short.
Okay.
I don't know. What I mean is the structure of a poem is you know you're going to get to the end of it. It's not going, well, there are long poems. I shouldn't say that.
I
But
love that you know all of this about poetry. That's so fabulous. I feel like it's lost and I want to bring it back. And so one of my hashtags I like to use is one poem a day, because I believe that just reading one poem a day softens your heart, keeps you in touch with that, with your heart center, really. Okay, I have one called Dream. Ready? Okay, so this is Dream from No Matter How Dark This Day. In the hollow of the dream, feel the relentless scream. Dying to the end you've already seen. In thought, in prayer, the world has left you naked, bare. In the hollow of the dream, you wish and scream. To an audience out of sight, someone appearing black as night. As you wish, you close, naked and bare. You dream the hollow dream, though no one's there. Alone in the silent still of the fright, you repeat your episode night after night, with thought and prayer, since no one is there. In the hollow of the dream, you twist and scream, unaware, bare, nothing as it seems, you tear a wet stream. In the hollow of your dream, you could not see. You were wrapped in warmth of piercing wings, naked and raw. You create this scream, a world of blessing you have yet to dream.
Nice.
Thank you for having me read those. Thank you.
So let's tie in the yoga and how, how you see that helping the healing and.
Oh, I found yoga and yeah, it's like it was a healing path for me. The Four Noble Truths, like life is suffering, there's causes to the suffering. You can there's cessation of the suffering, right? And the Eightfold Path, really, right speech, right values, right mindfulness, all there's 8 of those. And it really resonated with me, reading the book from Thich Nhat Hanh, Being Peace. The Zen way of life, and just I didn't know that there was another path besides the one I was on, and so I really fell in love with learning all kinds of healing modalities. I did meditation long before I ever went into a yoga class. 5 years of meditation. I joined the Canadian Theosophical Society. So just went learning. But with yoga, I found I could use it every day. Practice. It just really gave me a path of connecting to my heart center. And that's the place I really wanted to be. That every action I took from my heart center, the look I saw on people's faces was love, of joy. The things in my house started to transform. They're nice, they're bright, they're the colors I love. The foods that I eat reflect that. And so it's really been this journey for me, really just magical.
Yeah. And do you see, I mean, it's kind of a crazy question, but I'll go for it. Like, yoga it's breath work in part. I mean, for hatha yoga, and it's physical, right? But what does having your physical body connected to your heart do for the healing process in your experience?
Everything. I really believe that. So in meditation, what I learned was that the yoga poses. So people were meditating. The monks have been sitting in the, where do they sit now? Why is that word escaping me? The Buddhist temples. They've been sitting for decades and centuries, and they sit cross-legged. Usually, a mindfulness meditation practice. Of course, there's different kinds, but this is the one I'm referring to. And their hips would get tired. And the yoga asanas, the poses, actually came from them trying to stretch their hips after sitting for a long time, and then they could sit longer, which quiets the mind. So I believe, and how I teach now, my Ganga Moon Yoga, my yoga studio, is that we practice asana to quiet the mind. We move the body so that we can be still at the end of practice. And I think it all has to come down to just having the mind that's always monkey, that's always wandering, just having it quiet, just for a moment. Because it's in that moment of silence, it's in that moment of connecting to your heart, art, poetry, whatever it is for whichever person, but we all have that nature that you can see that you are more than your thoughts, and you are so much more than you think you are. And when you have that experience, it's you can't, it's something that you can't talk yourself out of it. Your mind is a liar and a trickster, but that is a feeling that's inside, that's inner peace. And I think that yoga, each time you experience that, it builds on that and expands. And I really believe that there is a kingdom of love, of peace, of light inside all of us, like right now, right now. Yes, yeah, it's what I've come to know for sure. And if I sign a book for people, that's usually one thing that I'll put there. I have Deeper Days, the book I wrote for Inner Calm Amidst Chaos. And I really sign that. Like, there's magic and wisdom in doing a daily practice. Like, just one thought a day can keep you calm and peaceful and add meaning to your day. But the real kingdom, and it's a source that's within all of us. It's just that our Western culture here doesn't teach us that we have this power inside of us. If you're born in the Eastern culture, and I just learned this in my 40s, was if you're born in the East, you are raised to be that potential from day one. I mean, we all have that destiny inside of us. And I'm just like, hey, I'm going to share my story until everybody feels their destiny. Because when someone else, like even you doing what you love, is allowing me to do what I love. And so if somebody listening has like a little pang of like, oh, maybe I should do this. Yes, you should do that, because we're all going to feel it, and the whole world is going to be a better place.
And we need that now more than ever. As we're really needing to reclaim, sovereignty, in health for sure, but in all aspects of our life, even like, I don't know where are you living, in which place?
So I'm right between Niagara Falls, Ontario, and Toronto.
Okay,
right?
okay. Yeah, there's lots of things going on there.
Where are you?
I'm in Bowen Island in British Columbia.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah. But
so you have nature and I do not.
I was thinking, well, you do some, but and they're taking away a lot of the farming land in Ontario.
Too much.
It's unbelievable. But that's where people need to really feel that we are whole, and we are more than what we've been told we are. Like, this land is our land, in a true way, right? Like, you can't just take away the food supply for, I don't know, for some crazy thing they're going to create, a phony lab food, or like, what a chaos world, and it's time we all wake up to this reality.
Amen. Yeah, I agree 100%. And the thing is that you can take it away all you want, but it's like, did you ever like see a bed of rocks and there's like one piece of green, something grew in it? Like, we are seeds. You can bury us all, like we can be buried as much as they want, but we are seeds. and we are born to grow. And
Yeah.
I really think the greatest illusion is separation. I don't think there's any difference between us and the soil. I mean, when my body dies, where am I going? Right back into the flower beds, hopefully the ocean. But we are specks of stardust. We are stars, and we are destiny. And who are we not to shine, for sure? But I agree with your opinion on that 100%. Yeah.
We could go further down that route, but
we could go down that route.
well, actually, that is one of the questions I asked, because it had huge impacts in Canada, and most people that I interview are from the States. And when I share what has happened in Canada and the fact that, most of us who made a different choice for their bodies, or tried to anyways, weren't allowed to travel,
We're locked up in the school. The school board locked up children in rooms.
Yeah.
Called them isolation rooms. It's a horrific crime against humanity. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. Absolute crime against humanity. The things that happen to us and to a lot of other people in the world.
Yeah.
Absolute crime. And what's coming out now, with the distancing being made up, the masks being made up as not being helpful, and the pharmaceutical companies, the amounts that they're paying back, the theylied.ca, how bad is my batch.com, like it is incredible. If you are willing to look at some things, it will knock your socks off. And
sorry, go on.
And I just feel like we need to have a way to, like, as much as that is so scary, there is still that, not to lose sight of that, the nature of our soul is kindness and love. Even with the AI can come and do whatever it wants to do, but our love and our human heart is what it can't capture, and it never will unless we give it away. This is why I'm big into one poem a day, and inner calm amidst chaos in deeper days, just adding some meaning to your day every morning when you make your coffee. I am love, I am abundance. We have to remind ourselves of these things, because what we're seeing on the news and those revelations that are coming out are absolutely frightening.
Yeah. And I think, some people found out about this earlier, or were wise to it earlier, because it's not the first attempt to, to muck up with people. But this one, was truly, a genocide, right? And I think when we see what comes out from the people that are behind this, because the best source I thought for history is Dr. David Martin. He's a lawyer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! Like, he'll have the history of the coronavirus, like, way back.
Yeah,
it's absolutely worth watching his latest video. I just watched it, so it's top of mind. But it was patented, the whole, all the treason between also the countries, and the plan to launch this, it's all there, right? It wasn't there was no confusion. This was,
and it's still there. And what's shocking, what I heard this week was, I'd heard about the plan to eradicate, like, the humans or the human race, but I heard the percentage this week. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's 90% of the human population is. I was like, what? Yeah. That's an awfully big number to be plotting,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they failed at that, so, and I don't think they can get there now, because I think there's a lot of cleaning up that is happening. But if you think now, all the stuff that has come out, because of this, and because people are waking up and now doing their own research rather than listening to, whatever. What do we have here? I don't have a
Yeah.
television, but
I got rid of mine as soon as that happened. Like, no.
yeah, it's like whatever, not even gonna, like, why would I put myself in front of propaganda, I'll do
Yeah.
my own research, but
Yeah.
now all the child trafficking, and I think that makes, is worth bringing up during the talk with you, because
Mhm.
I think that is one of the heaviest things that as humanity that we're going to have to come to terms with, is
Oh
that
my God.
there's been like 8 million children missing,
No.
and they're being tortured for organ harvesting and for adrenochrome. And
That's
that,
awful.
and that our governments are complicit, and
Yeah.
yeah, and big organizations that you would think, I don't want to give names because otherwise, how it works in this country,
Mhm.
especially now.
Yep.
But, have like, people should look at this and, stop calling all this conspiracy. I think those who try to warn people need to be acknowledged for having tried to warn
Mhm.
people. And
Mhm.
now we just have to look at this, and they're going to need
Yeah.
help. This is where, your poems,
Yeah.
learning yoga. I mean, my God,
Mhm.
it's going to be so much to deal with.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is my passion. This is exactly why I put no matter how dark the stain out. I'm thinking, okay,
Mm.
now 60% of women, the 60% of phone calls to the police are domestic violence. You know how many women that is sitting scared in their homes right now, not not doing what their destiny, not living compassionately, not writing books, not singing songs. No, no, no.
Yeah,
We're going to call things exactly what they are.
exactly.
It's rape, it's torture, it's domestic abuse, it's
Yeah.
like where the IP something where the partner kills their intimate partner violence is right
Mm.
now just around me is declared a state of emergency. No one would know that because it's not on the news. It's
Well,
not on the news because like to have it on the news, then you have to change the laws. Like it's so far gone. It's so far gone. Um, but the heart is not, and that's
no.
my focus. But I will die to speak my truth every day
Mm.
and to the women in these situations. And I also think that the story, and I've never said it on another show because exactly why you said, and you'll know when I say it, but I absolutely think the story around rape and victimhood should change too. You
Yeah.
will be raped, and you can handle it. Because what if all the women up to this day knew
Mm.
that? What
Mm.
would they be doing different? It's
Mm.
not you're raped and you sit in a corner. We're not in those days anymore. Like
No.
we're not.
Yeah.
Now it's still 1 in 3 women. Yeah, 1 in 3 women every 3 seconds a woman will be raped. Okay,
Yeah.
I studied that in grade school. I studied that. It makes me so angry. Like, how is this not changed? And now we're talking about the millions of kids.
Mhm.
This is a rape culture.
Mhm. Mhm.
This is a rape culture.
Mhm.
Like sitting here pretending it's not. Let's be real about things. Yes, the poem in my book is called Rape because that's what's happening. We need to know how to heal it. We need to know that these things are going to happen and we can survive them. We have been surviving them for generations. And like, sorry, I wish it wasn't. And if I had a magic wand, it's the first thing I would stop. Absolutely. The first thing. Don't touch other people if it's not welcome, period. But
Mm.
it's not the case. So
Okay, well, I think we're gonna end with a positive thing, but no, that is positive actually. The truth, calling things
listen,
what they are, talking about it, you know.
if we're not having this
Yeah,
conversation, if it's not happening, then the world goes by the same way. We
yeah.
need to have new conversations for a new future. And that's what's happening.
Okay.
I don't believe anything is good or bad. Rape is this or that. It's nature. Everything is nature, and we're part of it, and we are
Mm.
it.
Mhm.
Period. It's just the way it
Mhm.
is. And
Mhm.
so the poetry is my way of,
Mhm.
hopefully spreading a little bit of love or adding some light to help with the healing, just so that that person who's feeling dismay, despair, anger, upset, can get a grip, can feel their feet again, and maybe contribute to the world despite what happened. Because no matter how dark the stain, we're still destiny. There's destiny inside all of us. We are all light. We are all love. And we need to be taught that. We need to be shown that and felt that.
All right. Well, thank you, Andrea, for spending this time having a conversation.
Wow. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us at the Healers Café. If you haven't already done so, please like, comment, and subscribe with notifications on, as I post a new podcast every Wednesday with tons of useful information and tips for natural healing that you won't want to miss.